And welcome back to Cappy. This is episode number 3. So we're here at the place called Airport. And this is where we're going to be buying a lot of our fuel. It's much cheaper than the Arctic. And so we did a bunch of legs, dropped off some more people last episode. And we flew over to Airport to buy some fuel. So fuel in the Arctic is very expensive. It's $25 a liter. As you can see, we're full here. We can go ahead and shut our ground surfaces panel. And so we've flown here pretty much exclusively to get some fuel. It's very important you do this in real life, where you'll ferry fuel by buying fuel where it's cheap, and then carrying some extras so you don't have to buy it at very expensive rates. So let's go ahead, and we have a bunch of people on board. We need to do a lot of deliveries. I also want to get my airplane back in the base. Having a couple issues I need to fix. So let's go ahead. APU's on. Let's turn the bleed on. Let's go ahead. We're just going to start 2. I am very close to this rock here, so I need to get us pushed out here. I'm going to try to turn us. We'll see if that works. You know, slidey physics on the game, so there's not much I can do with that. So I'm going to go full left on my nose wheel, and I'm going to come up on 2 and see if I can't get us gently out of here. If not, I can manhandle the plane a little bit with my player character, but I should be able to turn it. Generally, the wingspan is about the length of the vehicle, so as long as I'm not hitting them out, and as you can see, just 90 degrees on my nose wheel, I should be able to, it's going to be close. Let's put it that way. Yep. So, I'm going to come off that. That's annoying. I'm going to bring my thrust all the way back. I'm going to try to push it back with my player character. This is annoying that, you know, it's a game issue with friggin', you know, friction, not working right, wheel physics, but the only benefit is the game makes your player He-Man and everything weighs very little, so I can actually push my aircraft back with player. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. All right, so let's go ahead and taxi now. Alright, we'll taxi out on one engine. Generally, we taxi out on the left engine, but we'll taxi out on the right. I'm going to go ahead and turn my taxi light on. And it's nighttime now, so turn the navs on the ground. No strobes. JakaPlayz 762. We're ready to taxi to runway 36. We're headed to multi-hub. JakaPlayz 762. Clear taxi to runway 36. Runway heading, climb, maintain 1,000 feet. Upon hitting 1,000 feet, go ahead and turn heading of 310. Alright, we'll go runway heading up to 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet, we'll turn 310. Cap flight 762. I read back correct, Cap flight 762. Alright, I'm just going to turn my lights up just a hair. Alright. Set the flaps. We'll go ahead and we'll spin 1. So I need to write down the airport elevation here too. So let's see. Airport is 3618. Airport elevation. Field elevation is 80 feet. All right. So I'm writing these all down so I can make some instrument approaches. So we're just going to taxi. I'm going to stay a little bit to the left here. This airport, they like to bring the rocks a little bit too close, so I want to make sure I don't hit anything. We will be adding some ground service vehicles. I already have some, so this airport's tough because there isn't a place to spawn them. I gave us a little bit more money. I need to buy some of these bases to be able to do things, so you know, I need to do that. So. Let's actually, I have a bunch of people on here already. Let's do this. Let's not pick up any more passengers. Let's get, we have to go to Arctic Hub anyway. So let's go to multi-hub and pick up Arctic Hub people because we're going there anyways, but let's not make any special trips. Let's put it that way because I need to buy bases to be able to move some people. And so I need to be able to launch a helicopter and then transfer people from this airplane to a helicopter to move them. So I need that. I thought I turned on taxi light. Did I not? You know what it is? It's something screwed up with this that is annoying. The sensor for the nose wheel pivot is causing me problems. So even though that's on, it's not giving me taxi light because it thinks the gear is up. Because that sensor's screwed up, so I have to fix that. That's one of the reasons I want to get this airplane back, and the workbench is it's having an issue. And I could just dump all these people on the ground, but I want to not do that. JakaPlayz 762, hold short of runway 36, contact tower on 20.7, 20.7, JakaPlayz 762. JakaPlayz 762, we're ready for takeoff. JakaPlayz 762, you're clear for takeoff up to runway heading 1,000 feet. Clear for takeoff, runway heading up to 1,000, JakaPlayz 762. Alright, so our lights are all on. Yeah, we're clear for takeoff. So, takeoff checklist, flaps are set. Windshield heat's on. Probably wouldn't really need the windshield heat on. Bleed and APU can come off. Gens are on the engines. Good for takeoff. Snow's nice lately. Enjoying that. Pause rate. 80 knots. V1. Rotate. Pause rate. Gears coming up. 200 feet. Autopilot's coming on. I didn't set it up, but it's set now. Flaps coming up. JakaPlayz 762. Go ahead and contact departure. Over to departure. JakaPlayz 762. And we have a turn they gave us at 1,000 feet. JakaPlayz 762. We are 1,000 feet. Turn left for 310. JakaPlayz 762. Expect the runway whatever at what the hell's it called? Multi-hub. Runway whatever at multi-hub. JakaPlayz 762. I say whatever because I haven't written down that runway yet, so just trying to make us a final approach fix here. Doing it with vectors, and then once I get all these vectors in, that's when I'll be able to make some actual instrument approaches, and they'll be standardized. Actually, 310 is not bad. So there's Creative Island right there, the one we were at not too long ago. I'm just going to bring the thrust back. I'm just going to do about 200 knots here. We don't need to be screaming. These distances are short. All right, so I do have an instrument approach there at what's known as multi-hub. So that is 800. So let's go ahead and put that in. I'll actually use our instrument approach to get in. All right, there's 800. So we'll do radio, nav. I don't know the final. I don't know the final heading on that, so I'm going to come across on this heading here, and I'm actually going to go like this, and I'm going to visually check it. So that's it right there. And so I'm just going to visually look at it and try to get us on course. So let's start going right there now. So all I have to do is take off heading hold, and it will go to the radio. It's not even going on that nav that I put there. It's going to the radio. And once I kind of get a final approach course, we'll work with that. JakaPlayz 762, go ahead and contact, you're clear for the approach, runway, whatever, and go ahead and contact tower on 20.6. Over to tower 20.6, JakaPlayz 762. JakaPlayz 762, we're inbound for the runway, whatever. JakaPlayz 762, you're cleared to land, runway, whatever. Clear to land, JakaPlayz 762. Alright, gears coming down, flaps are coming down. Landing checklist. Gears down, flaps are set, reversers are set to unlock. Landing checklist complete. Alright, so let's see if this lines up nicely. We're a little bit to the right, so I need to come left probably 10 degrees. So let's go 0, 2, 0. the heading hole back on. So I'm trying to find the final heading on this. So I want to line straight up with the runway. So I don't know what the heading is on the runway. So I need to go more than that. Let's go ahead to 360. So I'm cutting in too much. So I should be able to draw a straight line here, and I want to be on this line here, and that's why I turn back to the left a little bit to cut in on it. So once I kind of like my approach heading there, I'm going to put that waypoint back. That way I can kind of see it. When it looks right to me, I'll turn in on it. We'll slow down to our final approach speed. So we picked up some fuel. We're back up to, we were at 14,500 pounds. A little bit of an imbalance here. We'll just cross feed a little bit. Very minimal cross imbalance. Okay, now we're going to turn back on the course. That should put us a little bit straighter on the runway. Now we'll send down to 500 feet. It's a non-precision approach. Eventually I'll do an ILS. Jan has a great ILS system, but I like to do my own with a little bit simpler with some 2 gauges, vertical nav, horizontal nav. I'm going to make some more instrument approaches once I get this all set up. So see, now we're on this line from the runway out, so should be able to take that waypoint off now. I don't need it. So there's a shack on the ground here, another one of those ADF shacks right here, I believe. And that's actually what we're navigating to. It's beaming us its GPS coordinates, and it's acting like a real system. So the runway is probably runway 4 or 5. Nice long runway here. We'll come in at 120. You do it based off your weight and other conditions. Runway's in sight. I think the runway's in sight. Maybe not. Maybe it was just a star that I saw. Saw it really quickly. So we're currently 1.9 miles out, so we should see it soon. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. Again, first time. Yeah, I can see the airport. I can't see the runway yet. There's a light just came on right there. That should be the hangar, I believe. Airport's in sight. Just killed the autopilot. Autopilot's off my airplane. As soon as I see the runway lights, I'm going to go into land, so I need to look for this sucker. No runway lights yet, so I have to be careful here. I don't want to get slow. I'm going to cheat just because I can't tell where the runway is yet. It pops up very late in game. In real life, you'd already be able to see the runway, so I'm trying to make sure I don't line up for the wrong thing. So I'm kind of looking for it now. Okay, there's no lights. The runway's right there. There's no lights. Okay, Devs, what's up with this? Look at the runway. The runway's dark, man. Look at it. It's right here in front of me. There's no runway lights. Okay. What the hell, man? Look at it. That's ridiculous, man. I should have seen that a long time ago. Alright, so that's going in as a bug report. No runway lights here at Multi-Hub or Creative, or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, there's no runway lights. That's insanity. Okay. That makes this airport pretty much useless for me. It's a major airport, too, in game. Come on, guys. That's a little frustrating. Well, see, they're there. They're just not working. All right, I'll put in a bug report. I'll stop getting grouchy, but a little bit grouchy with this. I'm trying to make some realistic stuff here, and it's tough when, there's no runway lights. So it's very hard for me to operate. I should have seen that, a long ways out. I had to cheat. I was starting to get nervous. I was like, we're within a mile. I should see this sucker. All right, we'll do the after landing flow. So that's coming up. We'll go ahead and we'll just shut down 2 APUs coming on. All right, so I need to work on this nose wheel, this nose gear. That's kind of screwed up. So I shut down our number 2 engine there. I'm going to keep the landing lights on for taxi. So the way it works is my taxi light goes up into my gear well, and my 2 landing lights actually go up into my wings. It's DC-9s, I think, did that. I think the Super 80s did it. And so when I put my gear up, it shuts the lights off as well. My player character, sometimes you'll notice if you get close to a pivot in game, it causes the pivot to move as your player gets close, Or that sometimes, you know, a door will get stuck as you're trying to move it, and if you move your player character, it'll either open or close, it will get unjammed. And so currently my nose wheel is doing that, and it's causing me problems. So I've had to deal with it, and one of the things is the light will shut off when the gear doesn't think it's down. So I have to fix that too. I actually think the nose wheel is I damaged it, so I actually think that's what's causing it. It got damaged because I had to screw with it. So, and because I have all these pastures on board, I really can't put this back on the workbench till I get up to the Arctic. So when I get it back on the workbench, I'm gonna go off on, you know, and do some work on this, get this tuned up a little bit. JakaPlayz 762, go ahead and taxi to the hangar. I'm doing everything tonight. All right, over to the hangar, JakaPlayz 762. You guys having a problem with the lights? Yeah, it was in the ATIS. Lights are out. Oh, copy that. Maybe somebody will fix it on a Friday. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, but I see the airport's completely dark, no lights. No runway lights. Alright, so right by the hangar is where we're going to dump these people. This is multi-hub. This is one of the main airports, too. So we're going to pick up Endo and Arctic Hub. So we'll wait till we get over there. I don't have anybody going here, just to pick up. So the only people left are going to be for, I think, just Komodo. And then all Arctic. I have Trinite, I have Arcticus, and so those are all up in the Arctic. I don't think my spoilers are working right on the ground either. I have to check them. So spoilers they're flaps. You see them sitting right ahead of the the other flaps. Those go up and they spoil lift. And so what they'll do on this aircraft is when you're over 20 knots and your thrust levers are back a certain amount, and you're over 20, it could just be the thrust lever component I have to change. So essentially when you're not in a takeoff configuration, they will pop up, and that puts more weight on your wheels, which your wheels are what does the braking, so that will help you stop. So I'm not going to bother shutting down that engine. I'm just going to get rid of some people, pick up some people here. So we're picking up Endo and Arctic Hub. So it'll be question P load space. I'm going to copy that. Endo. Arctic Hub. Alright, so we've loaded some passengers on board here. If I run out of space for passengers, it will tell me. Let's see, I'm trying to see what the intersection is. I have enough runway I can take off. JakaPlayz 762, we're ready to taxi. We can take an intersection departure. JakaPlayz 762, go ahead and taxi and hold short of runway, and I have to check the number. We'll go ahead and we'll taxi, hold short, JakaPlayz 762. Alright, so let me write down the field elevation here at multi-hub. So I'm going to make some instrument approaches for all this. I just need to write down some data. So we have 48-foot field elevation. Alright, good. And then I just need runway numbers. Alright, good. Brakes coming off. Set flaps. Flaps set. Alright, we're all lit up anyway, so. JakaPlayz 762, we're ready for takeoff. JakaPlayz 762, you're cleared to take off. Where are you going? O'Neill. Am I going O'Neill? I think I'm going O'Neill. No. We're going to go to Arctic. Let's go to... I'm moving while I'm talking to you guys. Let's go right to the Arctic. I do have people for down here, but I don't have the money to buy this. I do. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to Harrison. I'll go into Harrison. Copy that. Runway heading up to 2,000 and expect vectors. Runway heading 2,000. So I think it was, what was it? 130, oh maybe? I can't remember. Once I get on the runway, we'll do that up to 2,000. So altitude heading hold are pre-selected. We're going to do an intersection departure. We're not going all the way to the end. We're going to take off halfway down here. We have more than enough runway to take off. We don't need the intersection. This is, I think, one of the longest runways. Would be nice if it had some lights, though. Wouldn't that be nice? So if you see right there, there's my orange shack. That is the radio we are actually navigating to. So the only issue was a game bug that we don't have any lights here. So that's good to know. I wonder how long that's been, but I'll put in a bug report. Stop grouching about it. I'm gonna get on the runway heading, and then I'm gonna write down the number. I think it was 13, but let me write it down here. Maybe not. I can't remember what it was. Let me try to get on it here, and I'll tell you. Tell you once I turn. I need to parallel it a little. Runway 4. Okay. So it's going to be runway 4 and 22. All right, runways 4 and 22 are this airport. All right, we're cleared to go. Set thrust. Thrust set. 80 knots. V1. Rotate. Pause rate. Gears coming up. Flaps up. 200. Autopilot's coming on. And we don't want to go over 250. And this should have been set 2040. Alright, so we're taking off out of multi-hub, and we're looking to set up for Harrison. So let's go ahead and set to right about here, I think, for our final approach fix. Cap flight 762, you can contact departure on 20.2, 20.2, thanks. Cap flight 762, we are 2,000 feet. Cap flight 762, you can go ahead and go direct to the final approach course for runway at Harrison. Final approach course, thanks. Alright, so we're turning left to the final approach course. We will shut off our landing, our taxi lights. Climb checklist. Gear is up, flaps are up, lights are set, APU is off, climb checklist complete. Thank you. Alright, so I do need to fix that nose wheel. That has been causing me lots of problems. I kind of think I have it figured out now. I made a little change to it, which fixed it, but it also made it break. I think I just put I had to add a second pivot because with my character, only in this save, because I think the lag from having all the people spawned, when my character's in the seat, it interferes with that gear. When I get out of the seat, it fixes it. So I had to add a second pivot. I had to move the way it locks, and it's not quite working, so I have to fix that. So we're going GPS to the waypoint. That's going to be our final approach fix, and then I'm going to have us come in for Harrison. And so the whole point of Harrison here is we're going to buy Harrison. And we have people for, I don't think we have Draymore. We have Komodo. We might have Draymore. I have to check. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load people into a helicopter and we'll fly them over here to Komodo and wherever we need to. I'm also going to go, we have people for our Arctic hub, I think, here. Trinite. Trinite's one of the places we have to go, so I'm going to go grab them there. Probably shouldn't be grabbing too many people, but I'm going to do it. So. And we need to make sure we keep enough fuel to go to the Arctic, so we should. So one of the things I did when I started the save was I actually cheated in a bunch of money to buy a ton of fuel at the Arctic and put it in the base. I have like 100,000 liters, which sounds like a lot, but that's only, you know, I hold 30,000 pounds here, so that's only about 3 full tanks in this jet. And that was just to get me started so that I could start getting into my own fuel movement stuff, so. Let's go up. We'll speed up a little bit here. We're under 10,000, so we can go up to 250. Alright. So that's the final approach course. So the way this is going to work is I need to put in Harrison. So what are we on? A 294 heading. So let's go ahead and switch this over to heading 294. Let's click heading. Alright, next thing we want to do, let's look up Harrison, which is where we're going. Harrison is a 500. The frequency is 500. So I'm going to put in the radio frequency 500. I shouldn't have clicked that one. Alright, 500. So right there, it's a 294. We're about 5 miles away. That is over there somewhere. So what we're going to be doing is headed to this point, and then join the course. I don't know what the runway heading is. As you've been probably noticing, every time I go to an airport, I've been writing down the information. I need the field elevation, how high it is off of sea level, and I need to know what the runway headings are. Once I know the runway headings, I put in the navigation shacks for the EDF, and if I know the runway heading, I can draw a line and make instrument approaches. And so right now I'm having to kind of guess, which, you know, it's not that difficult to do, but I have to guess, so. Just checking my fuel. As long as I have, it took me about, what was it, 8,000 pounds to get from the Arctic to O'Neill. So as long as I have 8,000 pounds, I should be able to make it up to the Arctic. I currently, you know, I'm trying to ferry fuel. Ferrying fuel is you buy the cheapest fuel you can and bring as much of it with you as you are. So really, I should have made the airport my last destination and then head to the Arctic. That would have saved me some money, but I'm also having an issue where I need to fix this plane. I have that issue with the nose wheel. That's pretty much the only issue I'm having is nose wheel. All right, we're flying directly over an airport now. I think this is military. That's military right there. So we need to start turning. So let's go. Let's do 45 to the left. So 250 heading. All right, let's take that off. Let's go to radio. All right, we're making our turn now, and I'm gonna go final approach course. So we're gonna go to by nav, and we're gonna keep the turn coming here, and we're turning onto the final approach course of this runway. So everything goes fast in a jet. We're gonna go ahead and slow down. All right, we're under 250 knots. Gears coming down. Flaps are coming down. We'd wait till 200 knots IRL for some of this flap, but I'm just doing it early. So I don't actually have to worry about it breaking off, so. Yeah, we want to get slowed down here. All right, nothing, so we have to worry about there's nothing on the approach course that's gonna hurt us. So I need to come about 5 degrees to the right, so let's go, let's see, what are we doing? 2, 3, let's do 2, 4, 5. I need to get on course here, so I'm going to switch to heading hold. That takes precedence, and as you see, it will turn us right. So by setting this system up the way I did, it allows me to pre-select things. You notice nav's still selected. All I have to do is take off heading hold, and we'll go back to nav. That's how you really do it in real life. That lets you go back and forth to your different systems. So what I'm doing is I'm coming back over here. I want to line up at the runway. I'm too far over here. So I want to get lined up right about here. That will also tell me what the runway heading is probably close to. You see, I guessed it last time with that it was either, what, a 4 or 5? And it was 4. So right there. So once we get on that line, we're good. I'm going to go down to 500 feet. So 500. I need to fix the autopilot so it's not so jumpy, but that was, I was doing it manual input, vertical speed, and I decided not to do that anymore. There is beginner base right there, all dressed up for the holidays. There is the hospital island right there. All right, let's check it again. So we're getting close. We're still not perfectly in line. Right there is where we want to be. So a little bit more, and then I'll turn on. Oh, there's beginner. Looks nice with the holiday decorations. And there is the hospital island. All right, let's look at it a little bit more. I have a very slight angle in. I probably have like a 10-15 degree correction in. All right, let's go ahead and go nav. Heading hold comes off, and we'll turn directly to the beacon on the field. So I'm thinking runway 22 maybe. You know what it is? So runway 22 at the military base, it is almost parallel to that. So it's probably 21 or 22, I'm thinking. What's it doing? Is it tracking? It is. It's just being slow. I'm going to kick it to get it going over there. I don't want to blow through my course because it's not listening to me here. So we're 3.8 nautical miles, about 1:08 out. So that might be 230, I'm thinking. I'm going to come in on a heading here. Let's go, what's our current heading? 230. Let's go 220. Let's turn the heading hold on. We'll do it by a heading here. Being sluggish. The autopilot's not responding well right now. Take that off for now. See if it behaves itself. Alright, so I'm just visually kind of looking at this again. I don't know what the runway number is, so we're coming back down this way a little bit. Probably another 5 degrees. Let's go 10 degrees, 210. So radio is 224. So it could be runway 22. That is, what's that? Is that Olsen? That's Olsen right there. Yeah, that's the bridge going in Olsen. Olsen's right there. We should be seeing this pretty soon. If this one has no runway lights too, I'm going to be annoyed. So I can see the light for the airport already. For the hangar. I can't see the light for the... there's the airport. Runway's in sight, landing. Alright. So it's probably like a 2-2. Alright, so I'm correcting now. Coming down. A little bit high. We're not that high. Alright, good correction on here. So it might be... was it 225 maybe? I don't know. We'll see. It might be 23. Might be runway 23. So could be why I was a little bit off. Was couldn't tell if it was 22 or 23. I think it's 23. Yeah, it's runway 23. It's a 227. So you do whatever's closest. So that's runway 23 at Harrison. A little bit high, a little bit fast. Yeah, we're high, but we're all right. Probably got a sink rate warning for sinking like this in real life. But rather that than crashing the trees. So again, fly the jet to the ground. Don't flare the jet out. That's how a jet flies, like that. You don't flare really hard. I didn't unlock my reverses, but I shouldn't need them. Cap Flight 762, you can go ahead and taxi to the hangar with me. Over to the hangar with you, Cap Flight 762. And we've been keeping the same flight number because you'll often see that if you're continuing on from destination to destination, they keep the same flight number. Sometimes they'll change it, so flight to flight. Also, it makes it easier for me to remember. Alright, so I'm going to write down all the info for this airport before I forget. Alright. And one of the most important things we do here is shut our fuel off. APU's coming on. Alright, and that will save us a bunch of money with fuel. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to save this. Alright, so let's see what we used on fuel there. So we used about, I don't know, a little less than 3,000 pounds per side, so that's about 3,000 liters. So you're talking $12,000 to come over here, and we'll probably make more than that. So we flew to multi-hub as well, so that's not really fair. We flew from here to there and then over, so about $12,000 to do this, but we should make more than that with what we have on for passengers. All right, so I just made a save. And I'm actually going to make another one. This is kind of important, so what I'm doing here. Back up. Okay. So let's go ahead and get out. This might cause me problems. So I don't have anybody for Harrison, but I have people for Komodo. All right. And I think it's just Komodo. I don't think I can interrogate my passengers to see where they're going. So let's go ahead and let's buy this base. And I'll give myself some money if I need to. So, alright, so we own this base now. We can transfer passengers to this jet. Now, I need to put a stay active block on this. I forgot to do that. I need to do it. So hopefully it doesn't despawn on us. That's why I saved. Alright, so a little change of plans here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Rotodyne. And so the Rotodyne has a 39 passenger capacity. So I should be able to take everybody on the that's on the jet. So that's in. The Rotodyne holds 39 passengers, all set up for Stormlink. I'm going to take everybody that is going on the jet here. Alright. And I'll load everybody up. All right, so let me double check. I want to make sure this should have 40 passengers. This actually holds more than the jet does. 48. So we'll put 48 in there. I don't think we can actually take 48, but it has 48 seats. So question P cap 48. All right. Next thing, I need to grab everybody who's on that plane. So question mark P load space. I'll copy that. Komodo. Okay, so they're on board. Trinite. They're on board. They're on board. I need to check that out. Endo. They're on board. Who else do I need here? So Komodo. I think I spelled Arcturus wrong. Arcturus. Okay, Arcturus. All right, they're on board. Let's go quickly check. Make sure nobody is left on the plane. So this should be a ghost town in here. It is. Okay, so notice no passengers on the plane. So I've transferred everybody over, and the reason is I don't have a stay active block on this airplane, so I need to put this away in the workbench. And so now everybody's loaded on to the Rotodyne. So let's just kind of just fly in here. So they're all in here now, as you can see. I'll take a little pic here. And there's all my people on board the Rotodyne. All right, so let's go ahead. I don't have a ton of fuel in here right now. We're pretty low on fuel. So we need to do a couple things here. So let's go ahead and let's see if I can do this. I doubt I'm close enough. Nope. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to get the Rotodyne out of there, and I need to get the jet put away, and then I need the fuel. So might be all right with fuel with this, but I need to get that jet put away. So let's go ahead and get started up here. Let's see. Where are we at here? Shut the APU as well. Alright, so those are going. Gens are coming on. APU can come back off. Ground idle. Release parking brake. Go ahead and taxi out. So here's a Rotodyne. We're going to taxi out with a Rotodyne. We're going to drop people off at... need to fuel this up too. So let's go ahead and... I don't want to get too far away, but I need to get far enough away I can recall the jet. Let's actually, I'm going to take a pic here really quick. Of need a little thumbnail-y for the old video, so... Alright. So let's taxi this over. I need to be able to fuel this up here in a second, so let's go ahead and park it here. Alright, and we're good on ground idle. Let's go ahead and shut the engines down. I have a light somewhere, but I don't want this to take forever. So you see how it does this? That's when you get the physics is struggling. You get these doors locking. That's what's happening with my nose wheel. So, on the jet. Alright. So I'm going to fire up the jet, taxi the jet in, put the jet away. And we'll swap back to the jet once we get some of the stuff done. So let's go ahead. I just need one. So let's go APU bleed on Fuel valve, start. We'll start engine 2 because it's actually on that side. It's going to be what we're taxiing in on, so. Watch the N2. N2 1.4, we should get light off. There we go. Brake release. All right, we'll taxi the jet in. We'll put it away. And then the Rotodyne will go. I need a refuel, so I need the fuel out of the jet. Whoa, 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 whoa. Try to make sure I didn't keep turning too hard and going into the wall. Let's see if I can't pull this in. All right, there we go. So we should have all the fuel now. Let's check it. As you can see, we have 12,000 fuel. This probably is going to be too short to reach the Rotodyne. Probably have to taxi back in. Oh, just barely. We're too far away. Okay. I need to taxi the Rotodyne in. So that's all physics stuff because of the lag. This mod makes a bunch of lag, unfortunately. It's actually physicalizing passengers everywhere. It'd be nice if it didn't do that, but it does it, so. All right, let's go ahead and fire up. All right, so I just need to get this close enough where I can fuel it up with some jet fuel. So I just need to taxi back in the hangar and get this where I can fill it up with fuel. We're going to go to, you know, we might actually, we could finish the episode out with this and not transfer it back to the jet. I think we'll do that. Pick the jet back up in the Arctic. Do a little bit of flying in the Rotodyne. I think that sounds like fun. Let me just make sure I don't hit anything. Alright, so we should be close enough now where I can fill this up. So let's go kill the engines again. Turn the APU on. Reserve our battery. There we go. Doors open now. Wait for the props to slow down. So this is not as fast as a jet, but it's a little bit more versatile. So you see, even with a beast computer, I have most of the stuff shut off. This will end up with come on, fill. Pumping out. Why are we not taking fuel on? Fuel pump is on. Why are you not filling? What's up with this? Why? It's Jet A1. Diesel, Jet A1. Okay. Alright, it's probably this one here it needs to be. Okay, that was it. Why put 2 if it's like that? But whatever. I didn't invent the game, so. Alright, so we're filling up now. So it's going to do the fuselage first and that. So I will get back with you guys when this is full, and then we'll actually continue on the Rotodyne. I need to do a little work on the jet. I need stay active blocks on things or else they're going to disappear. So I need to do that as well. So I'll get back with you guys when this is full. All right, so we're not 100% full, but we have a good bit of fuel here. Let's go ahead and actually we took it all. So we have all the fuel inside. I was just converting in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's probably all of it. So let's close that service panel up. And we'll go ahead and we will finish the rest of this with the Rotodyne, because we're going to have to swap anyways to get some of the other areas, so might as well switch to this. So we have to go to Komodo, dump the people at Komodo, and then we have to go up to the areas around the Arctic and the Arctic. So go ahead and set a waypoint here. Enter that waypoint in. Alright, so I'm going to start steering us out here. Brakes are off. So I can turn us. As you can see, just rotating in place, so. Now let's taxi out. So when I have ground idle on, it's reducing the amount of power that goes to the rotors. You'll see this in turboprops a lot. They go to ground idle, so you have less power. Because you don't need all that power for just taxiing around, so. This makes it easy to stay on the ground, and it also lets me taxi and burn less fuel. Alright, so taxiing on out in the Rotodyne. It's nice to get the Rotodyne in here as well. Logistically, this was tough just the way I set it up for to do the jet. I was going to have to jump in and out multiple times to get different vehicles, so this will work well. Alright, so I want to set in a heading of what's the bearing? 294. 294. Altitude. I need to turn off ground idle first. That'll give me more power. Let's go altitude of 500 feet. And I see we lift off. Go ahead and raise the gear. Here come the gear. Alright, nice. And let's go ahead. We want to do logo light, beacon, taxi light. Landing lights are on, strobes, and nav lights. Go ahead and shut the APU off. We're making enough power now with the turbines anyway. You can see Rotodyne. And so we cleared the mountains we did. So let's start adding some forward propeller. So you see we are twin turboprops. And those also power the rotors. I got a little hitch with my roll I need to fix at some point, but... Alright, landing light's coming off. So this would be kind of our premier expensive aircraft to be transporting people around and from base to base. I'm just going to trim in some roll at the moment. I need to fix that, but it's a little bit crooked. Alright, so we are currently heading to Komodo on a 293. I have to manually put in my heading on this one. And we should be there pretty quick. We're doing 200 knots. As you can see, I'm nowhere, about a 50% prop pitch on there. So we're burning 4,600 gallons per hour. We have 3,700 gallons on board. So we do have, we can go 164 nautical miles. Put that in perspective, the Arctic is probably about 94 kilometers from here, so only 45 miles. So we can do the Arctic 3 times in this. So this is more fuel efficient than the jet is. It does 200, and you know, if I went to max thrust, we could do 200 something knots, or 260 knots. But this is kind of our efficient. We'll go full prop pitch. We'll go a little slower, but that will be much more efficient. All right, so start walking the prop back. That just brings us right into vertical mode. All I have to do is go into altitude hold, put a 0 in there, and that will actually deactivate the system, and I can manually come down. As you can see, we're still coming in. I'm going to now kind of working like a helicopter. No forward pitch on my propellers. I'm just kind of coming down. All right, so I'm just going to dip my nose and look for a clearing here. So right there between the two light posts. I'm going to go ahead in my heading hold, put a 0. Actually, we'll do 180. Let it hold it for me. And we'll go ahead and come down. And so right there between these two light poles is where I'm going to go. And we'll drop off our passengers for Komodo and then to the Arctic with us. We're actually going to go, I think, and pick up some people for Tri-Night first. We'll do that on the way, actually. Up, 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 up. Gear's not down. There we go. Up. It's not hit posts or anything either. All right, gear's down 3 green. We can land. Now let's go to ground idle. And we'll unload. So P, unload. Komodo. All right, so there's $8,000. All right, so the next place we're going to go here is... We're actually going to stop here at Donk. Because that has 5 people for Tri-Night, so we want those people. That's a bunch of money for us. That's, you know, good $6,000, $7,000 there. So we'll go back to ground idle off. Altitude hold back. We'll go up to 250. Enter in this new waypoint. That's 268. Gears coming up. Start going forward in the prop. So this is going to be a good vehicle to transport people with from these kind of side bases. These vertical landing bases, let's put it that way. Autopilot on this needs a little work. Hasn't been updated in a while. Alright, so about 250 knots, sorry, about 250 feet, 200 knots approximately. As you can see, we can do 172 nautical miles in this. So this is very fuel efficient. Turboprops are very fuel efficient compared to... Jet's main claim to fame is to get up at high altitude, go very fast. That's what jets are good at. Turboprops are very efficient. But they don't have the speed that a jet has. That a jet turbine has, let's put it that way. Alright, so we're coming up here to, what do you call it? Donk, I believe. Donk. Actually gave us a little altitude here. We were okay, but I just want to double check, make sure I was going to hit anything. Alright, so there is Donk. Let's go ahead. I forgot I have to start bringing my prop back here. Slow down. Alright, and let's go ahead and see where we're at here. So I'll just do the reciprocal of where we are now. So what are we headed? We are headed 266, so that's going to be a 087. Alright, so let that turn us. Altitude, I'm going to put a 0 in. That shuts the system off so I can manually control it. I'm just going to hammer on the yaw and bring us around here. So I actually use those propellers on the turboprops to yaw me. Let me go to 0 in the heading as well. That'll let me control my heading. Alright, so I'm just going to get close to this. I'm not going to screw around too much with... let's see, is there a place I can land efficiently here? It's hard to tell in the dark, and I don't want to hit anything. So you can see there's a little base here. So with this mod, you can easily go to... you know, you can load with trains, you can load with ground vehicles. I'm going to do mostly this as an airline, but I was thinking of adding some, maybe some buses in to bus people around to get to the terminal. So let's see, I need to get close-ish, and then we'll see if we can't dump them from here. We may have to get closer, I'll see. So let's put it right here. P, load. Alright, so they're on board. Let's go ahead and go up to 2,000 feet. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to head to probably Endo first. Let's see. Arcticus, Sawyer North. What do you need? Dock Key. What do you? All right, so let's go to. Do you didn't have anything? Arctic Hub. Do you? Okay, so we're gonna go here first. All right, so let's go put that in. All right, so that is a 353 heading. All right, and we're gonna climb and maintain 2,000 feet. It's gonna very slowly go up there till we go to vertical flight mode. So we'll wait till it turns around. Gear's coming up. All right, we'll start giving it some prop. So let's see where we're at here. So we have a range of 200 nautical miles. So this is our high efficiency, is max pitch. It slows down to 150 knots. Let's see, we're about 45 nautical miles away. We're currently doing about 2.5 miles per minute. So, you know, we're talking about between 15 and 20 minutes to get up there at this speed. If I sped us up, go max available RPM. I don't think that matters with full prop. No, it doesn't. That's more for lifting cargo. But so right here, as you can see, we have 220 nautical mile range. If I bring that back, you'll notice our range goes down, but my speed will go up. Let's go about, I think 50 is our max speed. Yeah, I think 50 is our max speed. And you see we're down 163. We don't gain that much speed to do that. We've gained about, oh, I don't know, half a mile a minute. So we really haven't shaved that much time, but we've added a lot of fuel burn. So I'm going to go ahead and go full efficiency mode, and what I'll do is I will meet you guys when we get back up to Arctic Hub. All right, see you then. Alrighty, so we have a nice sunrise coming up here over the Arctic. The Rotodyne is not as fast as jet, of course, but it's more fuel efficient. We're going 160 knots here. We're currently about 3 minutes out from the Arctic Hub. And so let's go ahead and we'll descend down to 1,000 feet. All right, and so it's gonna be nice kind of putting in the Rotodyne as well. You know, with the way the mod is set up here, you know, we're flying long distances. It's gonna be best to go with the with our airliner. But in order to get here, you know, it's going to be most efficient, of course, take like a bus or something. But I can quickly fly over here, pick up passengers with the Rotodyne, go in, transfer the passengers, and then take the jet somewhere. And so last time was a little bit of a mess with how I took too many passengers and needed to go here and there and everywhere and kind of screwed up my flow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of try to do a little bit better flow. I'm going to save the Rotodyne or other craft, which I will probably build in the future, for more of the pick out and get type of stuff. Now, we'll try to keep the jet to some of these main airports. You know, we can go to a place like Draymoor, but I don't want to do too many transfers. I kind of want to get people... The nice thing with the Rotodyne is the Rotodyne has a capacity that actually exceeds the jet. And so because we can take 48 passengers in the Rotodyne, which I think that it's actually capped at 40 what you can take, but I have extra seats here in case I want to take people or whatever. But so what I can do is it makes the transfer much easier. Like if I took Katie, it holds 6. Makes transferring difficult. They have to transfer to multiple vehicles. With this way, I can transfer everybody to the Aerodyne, put the jet back in the workbench, and then fly around. That will also cut down a lag a little bit. So let me go ahead and get rid of this waypoint here. I'm going to do it all with, you know, I know this airport well, so I don't need to worry about things like, before I was using the waypoint where I could visually see it because I was trying to set up some of the instrument approaches. Now I don't need to do that as much. So we're currently about 2 minutes out. So first stop we're making is at the Arctic hub, and after the Arctic hub, we're going to go ahead and we will go to. We'll actually pick up a couple people there for Trinite, for Endo, and I think Arcticus, and then we'll head to Endo, drop off all the people for Endo because we still have a bunch on there, and then. We'll drop off people at Arcticus, and I think that's it. We'll head back to the Arctic hub, and we'll put the Aerodyne away, and that'll be it for this episode. Then hopefully next episode we can get in and do some more jet stuff. So kind of play it by ear. It's kind of fun getting people set up, and you know, I think things are working pretty well right now. As you can see, we're flying over the rail lines. Let's see where we're at here. So we should be coming over Shipbreaker, I think. Yeah, we should be right over Shipbreaker. It's a little bit behind us right over there, I think. Shipbreaker has one of my ADFs on it. So that you can use that for navigation. Alright, so go ahead and put on the landing lights. Taxi lights in the well, so we don't need to put that on. And it looks like I can start to see where we're going now, so let's go ahead and we're coming up on Tajan now. This is Tajan, the end of Tajan right now, so Aerodyne, go ahead and switch over to tower on 20.7 Aerodyne. This is Aerodyne, we're inbound 2000. Aerodyne, you are cleared to land. You can cross over the airport at 1,000 feet or greater and land next to the hangar. Over the airport, 1,000 feet, and down to the hangar, Aerodyne. So I have a bunch of trim, and I'm just taking my trim out there. That's what. Okay, there we go. That gear's coming down. And here we go. We're going into helicopter mode. Gears down, 3 green. So we can also do containers with this. I don't have any containers set up. You know, that's just to keep the lag down, and that's something I'll probably end up doing more of in the career build series. You know, I'm thinking I kind of like having these kind of separated series and worlds and stuff, and so the thought is to do some level of incorporation. But this is going to be a little bit more hard RP, so. And so I was getting brake there because as I push down on my collective, it activates my brake. So I have the gyro off now, so I'm just manually controlling it in. And we are down. Alright, we'll go ground idle, parking brake on. I'll just take a quick little glamour shot here. Aerodyne up at the Arctic. So I like the Arctic a lot. It's one of my favorite biomes to be in. So we'll go ahead and we'll shut down 1 and 2. And you would do that when you're unloading passengers, especially with this aircraft. The passenger door here is right in front of the propeller, so. So one thing you'll notice with these, let me see if I can see them. So if you go after midnight, you're supposed to be able to feed these people. So I don't know if I'm getting anything or not. That was part of it. But this has a much larger capacity than the jet. It's about 9 seats more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and we're kind of RP'd, set with the door open, so we're going to do P, unload, and then Arctic Hub. Let's see. I forgot to put an N in unload. Okay. Alright, so there's $9,650. Alright, so let's look. We want to pick some passengers up here. We're going to pick up Endo and Arcturus. I spelled it wrong, I think. That's why I said it that way. I was trying to spell it, keep it phonetically in my head. A-R-C Turus. Arcturus is better. Okay. There we go. All right, so now they're loaded because we already still have passengers there. If you look, we still have a bunch of passengers. They're either for Endo, Arcturus, or Trinite. So we have rotors going to be starting. Let's shut our door. So at least in the U.S., if memory serves, you need 2 flight attendants if you have over 50 people. If you have less than 50 or less, you only need 1 flight attendant. So. All right, so let's go up to 500 feet. And we'll set our first waypoint. It's going to be Endo. So right, terminal Endo right there. And we need to take off ground idle so we have enough thrust to get off the ground. And then a 126 is our heading. Gears coming up. Landing lights coming off. And that nose wheel gets stuck on this sometimes. I need to work with that a little bit. So 500 is a little low here. We need to be careful. So I'm not going to go fast. It's right there. So we can also take buses. I haven't built a bus. I probably will at some point. But, you know, we'd have to transfer all the people to the bus. So I'll probably do that. Make a large bus. I think that'll be fun to kind of get that in. You know, we get Walloway. There's a speed in game where it kind of transfers from vertical craft to horizontal craft, and we're in that. That's why it's kind of doing this Walloway shake. Get that in a bunch of craft as it tries to like go between, you know, vertical mode and horizontal mode. See, now we're at a higher speed. It's leveling out. All right, so right up here is Endo. You can see the lights there. I'm just going to manually fly us. Let's take these autopilot off. Gears coming up. That's brake. Gears coming down. Parking brake release should be off anyway. You know what I wonder if that is? I wonder if the wheel got stuck because the brakes are on. And it couldn't roll freely. Alright. So bring that propeller pitch all the way back, and then I can just pitch like a helicopter to come in here to Endo. And so the gyro off as well here. We're going to come in and land at Endo, and we will deliver some passengers here. Arcturus is next, then Trinite. So I think we actually have some people that we need to pick up for Arcturus. As you can see, there's our little station. So we're actually going to go to the station here. You know, in real life, you wouldn't have this. You know, like a lot of people are talking, oh, it'd be cool. Look at all these electric... you know, drones that are going to be taxis, and I'm very skeptical of that. One thing that, you know, you can make, you know, you don't get the noise of like a turbine, we pronounce it turbine, but turbine. Come on, I'm trying to do this quickly here, and it's playing with me here. Let's go 0. All right, and you know, you don't have the noise of like a reciprocating or a turbine But the issue is you still get blade noise. And so if you listen, like, if you go on YouTube and you listen to some electric powered general aviation airplanes, they're still very loud. And so kind of past this prologue, if you look back at like some of the 1950s things, there was this hilarious video that I always like to point out that it was a wife coming out to meet her husband as he took his personal helicopter up. Do I have a gear collapse here? Yep, gear collapse there. You know, a wife came out to greet her husband and take the milk out of the basket of his personal helicopter. And her head's like, you know, a foot under the rotor blades, and they're having it look, you know, they're pretending to have a casual conversation, and it would be so loud you'd never be able to do that. And you know, you have to think of the noise regulations of these things. All right, so we're all set. We have them. I didn't want to do a full landing here, so let's just go ahead and we'll get out. You know, so, you know, people talk about, oh, you know, there'll be a lot of drone deliveries, and I can see some of it, especially rural areas, because rural areas are very expensive for delivery companies to go to, just because, you know, you might have to, like, I've had rural routes where you have to deliver, like, you know, somewhat rural routes, but, you know, you might have to drive a couple miles between deliveries. Well, you know, that's a lot of expense, where you think like a city route where there were literally routes that would go into skyscrapers where one person would have one skyscraper. And so all they had to do is drive out to that skyscraper, and their truck sat at the bottom of the skyscraper all day long, and they just pretty much, you know, brought packages up and down all day. And so that was very economical. And so you talk about a rural area, yeah, you might be able to do some drones out there where they zip it around, but the noise, you know, noise is going to be so much of a problem with that. Is even though they're electric, there's going to be a ton of blade noise. And then you have liability issues. What happens if it hits somebody? You know, and that's always a concern, is if it were to hit somebody, you know, you'd be in deep trouble. So one thing I'm going to look at third person a little is, I don't know if there's a way for me to, so there's a tunnel there, that's the rail tunnel. So I don't think there's a way for me to, I can't take a bus over here, so that's interesting. Okay, this is a cool little fishing village here. So I'm just gonna finish this one up. Yeah. Cool little fishing village here. I don't know if I've actually ever been here. Let me see if I can dump them here from the air. Alright, good. There's another 7,200. What's here? I'm not going to pick those people up now. Are we empty? No, we have to go to Trinite. Okay. So, like, some of those things I think are fantasy. You know, of course they're going to try to do these things, but, you know, for example, I don't want an electric drone buzzing up and down my street all day long. You know, the trucks are much quieter than the drones. You know, a lot of people said, you know, this would never happen, this would never happen, and happen, but, you know, some of this stuff noise-wise, people are not going to want drones flying around their neighborhood. The truck is much quieter. You know, often, you know, you can park the delivery truck and go walk off packages down the whole street, and so it's very quiet and easy. And the other thing is weight. Like, you know, so, for example, you know, you say, like, medicine, you know, bringing some pills to somebody who needs it, you know, that is very light, so you can easily do a lot of that. It's small, very light, high density, high efficiency. But, you know, somebody ordering something that's 70 pounds, you know, you need a huge drone, which means a lot of blade noise in order to get that in. And the other thing is, what happens if something happens to that drone, it hits a bird, and then it lands on people? So you have to think of the insurance costs of a drone falling out of the sky, carrying a 70-pound package, landing on top of somebody, you know, where, you know, that's very easily could kill somebody doing that. You know, so these are all things you have to think about. All right, so there's 12.5. So we made a good bit of money on this. And so I'm going to streamline it a little bit. You know, we'll definitely, we'll do some, you know, go pick up some passengers and load the jet next time. But definitely, you see how the Rotodyne's nice and efficient, and part of it is the way that the transfer system works is if I leave a stay active block on the plane, it shouldn't despawn, and then I can leave it there. The issue is things slide around in game. I'm gonna try to do some more work in the plane, on the airliner. I'm gonna. I think we're empty. We're empty. But this is a good combination, the jet and the Rotodyne. So this follows the hub and spoke system. The hub and spoke system has been in play for a long time. You know, somebody who was an airline pilot and most of my time was and a lot of logistics. The hub and spoke system has been wildly successful in doing a lot of these things, and I'll kind of do a quick explanation. That's how I'm going to set up the gameplay here, and that's actually kind of how this mod's set up as well. And so the hub and spoke system is you have large hubs, and you go and you send feeders out to go pick up either passengers or boxes or whatever you're moving from these satellite areas to the hub, and then they're processed at the hub, and then larger vehicles or more frequent vehicles can more efficiently move things to and from the hub. Just checking our fuel. Yeah, we barely burned any fuel. We burned about 1,000 gallons. It's a good bit of fuel, but did a lot of work with the Rotodyne. This is a nice efficient craft. The jets, it's not inefficient, but it's pretty realistic. We have to kind of think of that. But turboprops tend to be more fuel efficient. So using this as a hub and spoke system, so I'll talk about that in a second here. Let's see, I probably have to taxi this all the way in because of the... because if you don't spawn it there, you have to get it right into the workbench area. You can't recall it when it's close, so you have to get it right in there. So we'll taxi it right in. And so the jet fuel costs are very prohibitively expensive up here in the Arctic. All right. All right, so let's check our status here. All right, so we have 103,000 liters in here, so we ferried some up. We also had, what do we have left on there? 2,500 gallons. So it's about 21,000 pounds we just added on there. So we pretty much brought back all the fuel that we get out of here. So that's very important. We have to be able to ferry fuel back up here to the Arctic because it's just so expensive to buy, as you can see here. So kind of talking hub and spoke. So this is the hub. These are the spokes. So you're flying the spokes into the hub, then from hub to hub. And so, for example, these main airports can be hubs. So you go into O'Neill, and then what you want to do is you want to go from O'Neill to the spokes, bring the spokes in. This is actually probably a hub. Bring the spokes in, and then you'd fly to another hub, bring the spokes in. And that's how we're going to be most efficient. So we have to kind of operate this as hub and spoke system. This is going to be one of our big money makers down there. We have to kind of check our southern ones are going to be, could make us a good bit of money. I also want to bring in some smaller aircraft that can do some of these smaller, some smaller planes to do the airports. I want to do mostly planes. Get very much stuck in this game of doing vertical takeoff stuff, either helicopters or VTOLs all the time, and I'd like to do more planes. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.